The night my world shattered was the night I felt the mate bond snap into place. Not gently, not softly, violently. Like something ancient reached into my chest, wrapped its claws around my heart, and whispered, "Mine." And before I tell you what happened next, think about this for a second. What would you do if the one person destiny chose for you looked you in the eyes and chose your own sister instead? If you've ever felt rejection, if you've ever loved someone who didn't choose you, then don't walk away from this story halfway. Stay with me. And if you can already feel that tightness in your chest, that pain creeping in, then quietly show it. Like, share, and subscribe to Alpha Moon Love Series. Because stories like this, they don't just pass time. They leave scars. I remember everything. Every detail. Every breath. Every heartbeat that led to my destruction. The Great Hall was alive that night. Not just alive. Thriving. Torches burned along towering stone walls, their flames dancing wildly like they could feel the tension building beneath the surface. Drums echoed through the hall. Deep. Rhythmic. Primal. It wasn't just music. It was a call. A reminder of who we were. Wolves. Bound by blood. By loyalty. By power. The scent in the air was thick. Pinewood smoke. Spiced wine. And something else. Something sacred. Ritual. Because tonight wasn't just a gathering. It was a choosing. And I wasn't supposed to matter. I stood near the far edge of the hall, half hidden in shadow. Not by accident. By habit. Because when you spend your entire life being overlooked, you learn where to stand. Where to exist without being seen. I wasn't like them. No wolf. No shift. No power anyone could see. Just Seraphina Vale. The disappointment. The forgotten daughter. The sister who never quite fit into a world built on strength. But that night, something changed. Because the moment the doors opened, everything shifted. He walked in. Alpha Lord Kale Draven. You don't hear Kale enter a room. You feel it. The air bends. The energy tightens. Even the strongest wolves instinctively lower their gaze. Power doesn't announce itself. It dominates. And Kale. He was dominance in its purest form. Tall. Broad-shouldered. Every step measured, controlled, deliberate. His presence wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It demanded attention without asking for it. And the moment his boots hit the stone floor, the entire hall reacted. Voices softened. Movement slowed. Respect, no fear, rippled through the crowd. But none of that mattered to me. Because the moment his eyes found mine, everything else disappeared. It hit me instantly. Not a slow realization. Not confusion. Recognition. Mate. The word exploded inside me. My chest tightened so hard I thought I couldn't breathe. My fingers curled involuntarily. My entire body leaned forward. Like something deep inside me was reaching for him. And for the first time in my life, my wolf stirred. Not fully. Not clearly. But enough. Enough to make me feel it. The connection. The pull. The undeniable truth that this man, this alpha, was mine, and I was his. Across the hall, Cale stopped. Completely. Mid-step. Mid-breath. Frozen. His gaze locked onto mine. Sharp. Intense. Unrelenting. And in that moment, the entire world went silent. No drums. No voices. No movement. Just him. And me. And the bond. You ever feel like time pauses just for you? Like the universe is holding its breath, waiting for something important to happen. That's what it felt like. Like everything I had ever been through. Every moment of being unseen. Every quiet terror I never let anyone see. Was leading to this. I wasn't invisible anymore. I was chosen. My lips parted. A small breath escaped me. And slowly, carefully, I smiled. Because I thought, this is it. This is where my life begins. But fate doesn't always give you what you deserve. Sometimes, it gives you something crueler. Because just as quickly as he looked at me, Cale looked away. Like I didn't exist. Like nothing had happened. Like the bond that was tearing me apart meant absolutely nothing to him. The air rushed back into my lungs. The noise returned. The world resumed. But I didn't. I stayed frozen. Because the bond didn't disappear. It tightened. Burned deeper. Demanded louder. But Cale Draven? He ignored it. And something inside me cracked. Not shattered. Not yet. But it cracked. And once something breaks like that, it never goes back the same. But that still wasn't the worst part. No. The worst part was what came after. Because under the sacred fire, under the blessing of the elders, Cale Draven chose his Luna. And it wasn't me. It was my sister, Leora. The moment her name was called, the world tilted. I didn't hear the cheers at first. Didn't see the smiles. Didn't feel the shift in energy around me. All I saw was her, walking toward him. Slowly. Gracefully. Like she had always belonged there. Leora Vale. My younger sister. Soft where I was sharp. Gentle where I was guarded. Loved where I was tolerated. She wore white. Of course she did. A ceremonial gown that flowed like moonlight itself. Her dark hair fell over her shoulders in soft waves. Her eyes shimmered with emotion. She looked like everything a Luna should be. Pure. Kind. Perfect. And standing next to Cale, she fit. Like a missing piece finally placed where it belonged. The elders began their chants. Low. Ancient. Powerful. The fire between them roared higher. And as Cale reached for her hand, the bond inside me exploded. Pain unlike anything I had ever felt tore through my chest. Not physical. Something deeper. Something spiritual. Like watching your soul being rejected in real time. I couldn't breathe. My vision blurred. My knees nearly gave out beneath me. But I didn't fall. I couldn't. Because if I did, everyone would see. They would see the truth. That the Alpha's chosen Luna wasn't his only mate. That somewhere in the shadows stood the one he had denied. And I couldn't let that happen. Not yet. So I stood there. And I watched. I watched as he held her hand. As he looked into her eyes. As he spoke vows meant to bind their souls. And the entire time, he felt me. I know he did. Because I saw it. The tension in his shoulders. The tightness in his jaw. The way his grip on her hand shifted. Just slightly. Almost like he was holding back. Almost like something inside him was fighting. But not enough. Never enough. Because when the final vow was spoken, he chose her. Completely. Publicly. Irrevocably. And just like that, I lost everything. My name is Seraphina Vale. And this is the story of how love destroyed me. Before it turned me into something far more dangerous. His touch should have felt wrong. Forbidden. Unforgivable. But it didn't. The moment Kale's fingers brushed against my wrist, everything else disappeared. The pain. The anger. The betrayal. Gone. All that remained was him. And the bond. It surged to life like it had been waiting for this moment. Burning through my veins. Demanding more. I should have pulled away. I knew I should have. But I didn't. Because for the first time since that night in the Great Hall, he wasn't denying it. He wasn't pretending. He was looking at me. Really looking at me. And that alone was enough to destroy whatever control I had left. Seraphina, my name left his lips like a warning. Or maybe a plea. I didn't care. Don't, I whispered. Because if he said anything about duty, about the pack, about Leora, I would break. And I was already hanging by a thread. The storm outside raged harder, thunder shaking the walls around us. Lightning flashed through the windows, illuminating the tension between us. It felt like the world itself was reacting. Like even nature knew. This wasn't supposed to happen. But it was happening anyway. His hand tightened around my wrist. Not enough to hurt. Just enough to stop me from stepping back. You shouldn't be here, he said again. But this time, his voice wasn't steady. Good. Because mine wasn't either. Then make me leave, I said quietly. A challenge. A dangerous one. Because we both knew. He couldn't. Not anymore. His jaw clenched. His eyes darkened. And for a moment, I thought he would push me away. I almost wished he would. Because that would have been easier. Cleaner. Safer. But instead, he stepped closer. The space between us vanished. His scent wrapped around me, dark woods, smoke, and something uniquely him. Something that made my body react in ways I couldn't control. The bond pulsed. Harder. Stronger. Do you have any idea what you're doing? He asked. Yes. Ruining everything. No, I said. And I don't care. The truth. Raw. Unfiltered. Because at that moment, I didn't care about consequences. I cared about him. And that was my weakness. His hand moved. From my wrist to my jaw, tilting my face up toward his. My breath hitched. "You're my Luna's sister," he said. The words should have stopped me. They didn't. "And you're my mate," I whispered back. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Irreversible. And then he kissed me. It wasn't soft. It wasn't gentle. It was everything the bond had been building toward. Raw. Hungry. Desperate. Like he had been holding back for too long. And finally lost control. My hands gripped his shirt. His arms pulled me closer. And for that moment, nothing else existed. Not Leora. Not the pack. Not the consequences waiting to destroy us. Just us. And the truth we could no longer deny. If this feels wrong to you, if part of you wants to look away, but another part can't, then you understand. Because this wasn't just betrayal. This was fate, colliding with choice. And neither of us was strong enough to walk away. After that night, nothing was the same. We didn't speak about it, didn't acknowledge it, but it didn't need words. The bond had changed. Stronger. More demanding. And Kale. He couldn't ignore me anymore. I saw it in the way his eyes followed me across rooms. The way his body tensed when I got too close. The way his control slipped. Just slightly. Every time we were alone. But he still went back to her. Always her. Leora. And that was the part that started to destroy me. Because I wasn't just the rejected mate anymore. I was the secret. The mistake. The betrayal hiding in the shadows of their perfect union. And the worst part, I let it happen. Over and over again. Because every time he touched me, every time he chose me in those stolen moments, I believed the lie. That maybe, just maybe, I meant something more. But lies don't last. And neither do secrets. Because the first crack didn't come from Kale. It came from her. Leora. You've been distant. Her voice was soft. Gentle. Too gentle. We were in the garden. The one place I used to find peace. Now, it felt like a battlefield. "I'm fine," I said. A lie. She stepped closer. Her eyes searching mine. "You can tell me anything," she said. And for a moment, I almost did. I almost told her everything. About the bond. About Kale. About the nights that should never have happened. But I didn't. Because the moment I opened my mouth, pain shot through my chest. Sharp. Sudden. And I froze. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Serafina. Leora's voice filled with concern. But I couldn't answer. Because something inside me was changing. The bond didn't feel the same. It felt deeper. Heavier. Alive. My knees buckled. And that's when it hit me. Not a thought. Not a guess. A knowing. A terrifying, undeniable truth. I wasn't just bound to him anymore. I was carrying something. Something that shouldn't exist. Something impossible. My breath came out in a shaky whisper. No. But my body didn't lie. The energy inside me pulsed again. Stronger this time. And deep down, I knew. This wasn't just the mate bond. This was something else. Something bigger. Something dangerous. And if it was what I thought it was, then everything was about to change. Because the one thing Cale Draven never planned for was this. His child. Leora's voice broke through my thoughts. Seraphina, what's wrong? I looked at her. Really looked at her. My sister. My blood. The woman who trusted me. And suddenly, I felt something I hadn't expected. Guilt. Because she had no idea. No idea that the man she loved, the man she called her mate, had already betrayed her. With me. And now, there was no undoing it. No fixing it. No escaping what was coming. Because secrets like this, they don't stay hidden. They explode. And when they do, they destroy everything in their path. That night, I stood alone in my room. My hands trembled as they rested against my stomach. It didn't make sense. It shouldn't be possible. And yet, every instinct inside me screamed the truth. I could feel it. Something alive. Something powerful. Something that didn't belong to this world. And as I stood there, trying to process what I had become, the door opened. Slowly. Deliberately. And I didn't need to turn around to know who it was. Cale. The bond reacted instantly. Stronger than ever. And when I finally looked at him, I saw it. The shift. The awareness. Like he felt it too. What did you do? He asked. Not anger. Not yet. But suspicion. Fear. And something else. Something dangerous. I swallowed hard. Because there was no more hiding. No more pretending. The truth was here. Alive. Growing. And it was about to change everything. I didn't do anything, I whispered. But even I didn't believe that anymore. Because the moment his eyes dropped to my stomach, everything stopped. His expression hardened. His entire body went still. And when he looked back at me, I knew. He understood. Completely. And that was the moment everything truly began. Because now, it wasn't just about love. Or betrayal. Or the bond. Now, it was about something far more dangerous. Something that could tear the entire pack apart. And the worst part, there was no turning back. Not anymore. Because whether he wanted it, whether I wanted it, it didn't matter. The truth had already taken root. And soon, everyone would know. The truth doesn't stay hidden in a pack like ours. It waits. It breathes. And then it destroys everything at the perfect moment. I felt it before I saw it. The shift. The tension. The way the air inside the pack house suddenly turned heavy, like something terrible had just been spoken into existence. Whispers started first. Low. Careful. Dangerous. Then came the silence. That kind of silence that doesn't mean peace. It means fear. And I knew. They found out. The door to the council hall slammed open. Hard enough to shake the walls. Elders entered first. Followed by warriors. Then her. Leora. Her face was pale. Confused. Broken in a way she didn't understand yet. And behind her. Kale. Alpha Lord Kale Draven. But this time. He didn't look like an alpha. He looked like a man standing on the edge of collapse. His eyes locked onto mine instantly. And I felt it. Not bond. Not desire. Fear. Because he knew. I didn't need to speak. The truth was already inside the room. Alive. Breathing. Impossible to ignore. One of the elders stepped forward. His voice was sharp. Controlled. But trembling with rage underneath. Seraphina Vale. He said. Step forward. My body moved before my mind could catch up. Slow. Heavy. Every step felt like walking toward execution. Leora grabbed my arm. Seraphina, what is happening? She whispered. I couldn't look at her. Not fully. Not yet. Because if I did, I might break. I stepped into the center. Every eye in the room turned toward me. Judgment. Fear. Curiosity. And then, the elder spoke again. You are carrying the Alpha's blood. Silence. Not shock. Not disbelief. Silence that confirms truth too heavy to deny. Leora staggered back. No, she whispered. Tell me that's not true. Her voice cracked. And that crack hit me harder than any punishment ever could. Kale stepped forward. Fast. But stopped himself halfway. For the first time, I saw him unsure. Not as an alpha. As a man trapped between two impossible truths. You said it wasn't possible, another elder spat. Mate bonds do not produce heirs without union recognition. But they were wrong. And I knew it. Because what Kale and I shared wasn't normal. It was deeper. Older. Something the pack had forgotten existed. And now, it had returned. Leora's eyes filled with tears. She looked at Kale. Then at me. Then back at him again. Tell me, she whispered. Tell me this is a lie. Kale didn't answer. And that silence, it destroyed her more than any truth ever could. She stepped back slowly. Shaking. Like the world beneath her had just cracked open. I was your Luna, she said faintly. Your chosen mate. Her voice broke completely. And you. She turned to me. You're carrying his child. I closed my eyes. Because there was no way to answer that without breaking everything. Yes, I whispered. One word. And the entire room exploded. Voices. Shouting. Accusations. Rage. The elders demanded punishment. The warriors demanded answers. The pack demanded blood. And I stood there. In the center of it all. Waiting. Because deep down, I knew something was coming. Kale finally moved. But not toward them. Toward me. The entire room went silent again. He stopped in front of me. Close enough that I could feel his breath. Close enough that I could feel the bond screaming between us. Is it true? He asked. His voice was low. Controlled. But shaking underneath. I nodded. That was all. Just a nod. And something in him broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly. Deeply. Irreversibly. He closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, something had changed. Not just emotion. Decision. He turned to the council. I claim her. The room froze. Leora gasped. The elders erupted again. You cannot, one shouted. She is not your Luna. Kale didn't move. Didn't blink. I don't care. Those words hit harder than thunder. Because they weren't strategic. They weren't political. They were final. But then, Leora stepped forward. And everything stopped again. She looked at Kale. Then at me. Then at the entire room. And smiled. Broken. But real. So that's it, she whispered. I lose everything and she wins. I shook my head. Leora, I never. She raised her hand. Don't. Silence. I loved you, she said to Kale. And you destroyed me without even trying. Kale didn't respond. Because there was nothing he could say. Then she looked at me. Long. Hard. And I saw it. Not hatred. Not anger. Something worse. Acceptance. You were always stronger than me, she said softly. I just didn't know it would cost me everything. Tears fell. But she didn't wipe them. Then she turned. And walked away. No scream. No collapse. No drama. Just silence. And loss. The kind that never heals. The council tried to intervene. But Kale stopped them. With one look. Alpha command. Absolute. Final. And then, he turned back to me. For the first time. He looked afraid. What are we going to do? He asked quietly. I laughed. But it wasn't humor. I don't think we get a choice anymore. Because I felt it again. That shift inside me. Stronger now. Not just pregnancy. Not just bond. Something else. Something ancient. Something waking up. The room suddenly shook. Windows rattled. Lights flickered. The elders stepped back. What is happening? Someone shouted. But I already knew. It wasn't just a child. It was power. Kale felt it too. His eyes widened slightly. You feel that? He whispered. I nodded slowly. And then, the bond snapped into something new. Not mate. Not rejection. Something beyond both. A new line. A new legacy. A new danger. The ground beneath us cracked slightly. And in that moment, I understood. This wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of something no one was ready for. Not the pack. Not the elders. Not even Kale. Because what I was carrying wasn't just his child. It was something the world had been waiting for. Something that would change everything. And the worst part, they were about to try and stop it. The final shot of the hall went silent. Kale reached for my hand. I didn't pull away. And as the pack watched, as Leora disappeared into the shadows, as the elders prepared for war, I realized something terrifying. Love didn't destroy me. It awakened me. And now, there was no going back. Because the Alpha's rejected mate was no longer weak. She was becoming something else entirely. Something dangerous. Something unstoppable. Why? Something the pack would fear more than any Alpha. And as Kale squeezed my hand, he whispered the final line that changed everything. "We're not safe anymore." And for the first time, I smiled. Because I finally understood. Neither were they.